Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisco Uplander YouTube channel. It has sadly come to an end for upland bird seasons in Wisconsin, which includes pheasants and grouse. Our both seasons ended on January 5th, and it's just a sad time of year, but that does not mean we don't have the ability to have some more fun. I've got a special treat for you all. I'm going to try winter hot tent camping for the first time. I have never done this before. It's going to be an interesting experience, but I kind of did it on a lower budget and bought a few items off of Amazon, which I will go over in this video. So I'm going to get the tent out and my stove out, and I'll explain all of that, and I'll show you how it looks setting up, and then we're going to test it out tomorrow night and brave the sub-zero temperatures in the hot tent. So I hope it goes good. I'm excited. Ryan is going to come and hang out with me and camp, and we're just going to give it a shot. Hopefully it is a lot of fun. I'm very excited, but let's get this tent set up here and see what it's all about. So here's the two items that I bought off Amazon. The tent itself is a Preself brand Teepee hot tent. Oh, it's a little harder to see. It's a 4-person tent, octagon shape with 2 doors. And then I bought the Avoforest mini wood stove. I did my pre-burn on it a few days ago, and you're supposed to cook up a fire in it for about an hour to 2 hours just to burn off any of the chemicals from shipping and manufacturing. I like this one because it's got a little window in the front so you can see the fire, and all the stovepipes pack in here really nicely. Size wise, I wear size 13 shoes, so really not that big. Packs down pretty light. You know, this is one whole unit. It's not a collapsible stove like some backpacking stoves are. But all in all, it's very small and is very formidable. It's going to work well if you throw it in like an otter sled or something of that nature. Let's get this tent set up and see what it's all about. I have not set this tent up yet. This is how it came from the factory. It comes with the stove port, which zips on. I'm sorry, I think it's just Velcro. Yeah, it's just Velcro. So I still have to cut the hole. Actually, I don't. There's already a hole in place, so I don't even have to cut it. That's actually pretty nice. And then it's got its own little carrying case for the tent itself. And then we got the tent all rolled up nicely with all the stuff inside of it. So let's unpack it and see what's inside. All right. So we got some aluminum stakes. Comes with the tent. This must be the center pole. Packs down pretty small. It's very lightweight. I think this whole thing is like 5 pounds. So definitely very manageable. Oh yeah, that's the center pole. Comes packed down nicely for you. And then we got the tent. It's actually a pretty decently sized tent. I mean, I haven't fully got it out here, but not bad. So everything I've watched for the videos, I gotta put the center pole up first and then pull it out. But I don't know, I think it might be easier to stake it out where you want it and then just leave one end unstaked so you can get in there and put the pole up. Should be sitting pretty good. That wasn't too bad. Got everything staked out and getting the pole inside was kind of a treat, but I think that worked out pretty well. And now I kind of have an idea of how it goes up and how it works. All right, so this is where the stove pipe will go through. Preself sends you a pre-cut fire retardant piece that goes in place. It's all Velcro, which is kind of nice. And I'll put it in place here and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. I got it in place, all Velcroed in, and it's got a little flap so you can roll up the other tent material that rolls down. Keeps that protected from the heat from the stovepipe. So that should work pretty good. Time to get the stove in here, get that in place, see how that looks, and then I'll have an idea of what kind of room we'll have in here. Because we're going to put 2 cots in here, plus the stove, so it's going to be tight, but... Wow. Someone's got a lot more money than I do, because that's a lot of ammunition. Anyways, let's get this stove in here and see what it looks like. That's the top pipe here. It's got the spark protector built in, so you don't hopefully start on fire. Pretty good. This is the stove installed from the inside, and then I'll step out and I'll show you the outside. And then that's the pipe coming through the outside. So pretty good clearance coming out, which is nice. Should work pretty good. Now I'm going to pile some snow on the edges just to kind of further insulate it. And might bring the cot out just to see how that looks, and then see if we'll have room for 2. It is time to test out the hot tent on a very cold night. Ryan and I are going to try to spend the entire night in here. We're not roughing it because we're literally in my backyard. So if we get cold, we can just go in the house. But the intent with this video is to do not only just a review of the hot tent itself from Amazon, which I will put a link in the video description of all the stuff that I purchased for this trip, but also just to kind of expose ourselves to the winter camping hot tent world. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting night. So Ryan and I are going to get the wood stove fired up here and start warming it up a little bit, and then we're going to cook some dinner, and I'll explain that in a little bit.
just the smell of that firewood going right now.
Smells good, doesn't it?
I'm gonna sleep like a baby.
What do you think, Ryan?
The smell is in the air. We're back into camping season. It's a good start to the year. I'm excited. I know it's going to get really cold tonight, but I'm still going to sleep like a baby, regardless.
Absolutely. Getting the fire going good. It's warming up in here. We had to ventilate a little bit. So one thing to consider is when you first start a fire in a wood stove is you may have some smoke that comes out of the front and essentially can fill up your tent with smoke. So just be conscious of carbon monoxide. Make sure you have good ventilation. We're gonna let this build up a nice bed of coals, and then I should be able to close down the vents a little bit so it's a little slower burn, and we'll go from there. But once it heats up good here, we'll fire up the old cast iron pan and cook up some dinner. It's supper time. We are going to cook up some venison tenderloins from my buck this year, and some also I also have some beef, like chuck roast type steaks. They're just like thin cut steaks. So I just cubed all the meat up and seasoned it, and then I cut up a couple onions, and then we're also going to do some sliced potatoes that we're going to fry up. And I got this inspiration from another channel that I subscribe to called Joe and Zach Survival. I follow Joe and his kids. Every year they go up to their cabin called The Tent, and I've been watching their channel for probably the last 6 years or so, and I absolutely love it. I just love the nostalgia of, you know, old time camping and traditional ways of, you know, spending time with family, especially like their deer camp type sessions. And I noticed that Joe also loves to fry up canned potatoes on his cast iron whenever he's at the tent. So Joe, if you do watch my video at some point in time, you have replied to some of my comments, and I appreciate that. But I really hope if you do end up seeing my video at some point, you'll get a kick out of this, because you definitely inspired me, man. So we're gonna cook up dinner here, and it's gonna be tasty. All right, we got some butter. We're gonna melt that down here, and then we'll start adding our ingredients. All right, we're gonna do the potatoes and onions first. First things first, though, we're gonna drain the water out of these. Got some diced onions. You can use yellow onions, whatever you want. So we're gonna cook these down, and then once we get those kind of cooked down, then we'll add the venison and the beef to it. So yeah, we'll just cook these up for a little bit here, and then we'll be ready to add some meat. All right, potatoes and onions are cooking up very well, starting to sizzle. So for seasonings on these, I got the multi-spice pack. I bought this a while back when we were elk hunting in Colorado, so I've had it for quite a while. But we're just gonna do a little bit of garlic salt on both of these. Because everybody likes garlic potatoes. And you want a little black pepper on yours?
Of course.
Okay.
Can't say no to that. We're talking.
A little black pepper. So this is kind of cool. If you like multiple spices, so you got paprika, curry, cayenne pepper, garlic salt, black pepper, and just standard regular salt. So kind of nice. It's convenient. Packs down. It's the size of my palm, as you can see, and works out really good. But oh man, those onions and taters are smelling good. All right, I got my meat. It's been sitting in this bag for a couple hours, kind of marinating in these spices and different seasonings. So we're gonna add that here. Give the old potatoes, onions a little stir. Oh, it's gonna be good. Yep. We're gonna be eating like kings tonight. Keep that fire stoked up, get it burning really nice and hot, so that way that pan will heat up good and we'll be eating pretty good. All right, we're just about ready to start eating some dinner. So I got an old military mess kit. I picked this up at a thrift store probably about, I don't know, 7 years ago. And I like it for camping. It's super lightweight. It's all like aluminum and works really good for this type of scenario. So Ryan and I can share the mess kit because there's 2 plates in here. There's also like a little pot that you can boil stuff in, but it's tiny. So we'll get that unpackaged here, and once that's unpackaged, we're ready to dish up some din. So Ryan's got a little plate, and then this also has a little pot you can cook over the stove. I mean, it's tiny, it's not very big. It's got a little lid, but for single purpose or single use, works pretty good. We'll just set that to the side. And then this here is the main plate, and then you can attach the handle to it, so that way you can hang on to it and not burn your hands off if it's a really hot plate. So, and all it is just a little screw and a little wing nut, and you can put it in place. So like that. Grab the wing nut, get that started, and boom, you got yourself a little plate. I think we're ready to eat some dinner. Meat's looking good. Potatoes and onions are cooked down nicely. And it smells good. Oh yeah, she's steaming good. Looks pretty good. Bone apple teeth, as they say. All right, I am going to try some of the venison tenderloin, a little bit of potato. Whoa, hot. Oh man, that is so good.
Just melts in your mouth.
Yes, it is very good.
Well, it's gonna be my turn next year pretty soon.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna keep eating this. I'm gonna turn the camera off now. Joe from Joe and Zach Survival. Now I see what the rave is all about for these canned potatoes. I've never had canned potatoes. I've always just sliced and diced and worked with the raw ones, but man, what a game changer. That's gonna be great for just hunting, camping in general. Well, Ryan and I are just kind of hanging out by the fire. Sorry, my lighting's kind of crappy. So we're just sitting here and enjoying the fire. Burning pretty good.
Yep.
Ryan's just chilling over here.
Sorry to fall asleep.
Yeah, he's got a nice little floor bed made up here.
I can't fall asleep yet. I have my mountain berry cobbler to eat.
Oh yeah, we got mountain berry cobbler to eat. That's gonna be tasty. But I'm still digesting, so I'm gonna wait a few minutes yet before I do that. So what we'll do is we don't have the jet boils or nothing. We're just doing it old school. And we're gonna boil some water right on top of the stove, and then once that's done, add it to the peak meal, which is sitting over here, and enjoy some tasty desserts. I think it's time for some desserts, so I'm gonna fill up some water, bring it to a boil, and then fill up our peak meals. That's about 2 cups worth. We need about a cup apiece. All right, it's time for dessert. Water's coming to a boil, and we're gonna add some to each peak meal. Should be about good.
Let her cook.
Well, I don't have a thermometer in here, and that's the only thing I wish I would have had for this video is a thermometer, just to kind of show you the difference in temperature between, floor level, peak, mid height, compared to outside. Outside temp right now is pretty close to 0 degrees Fahrenheit with wind chills of 10 to 15 below roughly. Inside the tent though, without a thermometer to really kind of gauge what it is, I bet you it's all 55 plus degrees. And then when the stove gets really going good, I bet you we get up to 70 degrees in here. And then when it dies down, we probably drop down to like 35, 40, but it's very tolerable and very impressed so far. I mean, for a cheap Amazon Teepee hot tent and stove, I can't complain. I got nothing to compare it to because it's the first time I've ever done it, but overall, very impressed with the setup and happy with it. So, but again, I will put those links in the description of what I bought, with the prices, and that way you guys know where to go to find it. But definitely, if you're looking to get started out, I think it was definitely worth it, and we're having a lot of fun. So we'll pull up that weather here in a little bit. So currently it is, sorry, it's not really focusing that well, 0 degrees and -9 for the wind chill. And hourly, it is going to keep dropping. So we got negatives, lots and lots of negatives. It's just going to continue to get really bad. But we're nice and toasty warm, so we're going to keep at it. right, guys, it's getting late and got the firebox all loaded up with firewood, but it's time to turn in and go to bed. Hopefully it won't be too cold of a night, and we will see you in the morning. Good morning. It is a little bit after, 6:36 is where it's at. It was not bad up until about 3 in the morning, and the temperature outside must have just dipped really bad because it got cold. The fire ended up going out in the stove because we were both sleeping fairly good, and I woke up and I was cold. And I didn't see any glowing embers at all in the stove, so I had to start a new fire. But once I got stoked up, I was probably up every hour to hour and a half, just trying to keep the fire warm. But overall, we made it through the night. It wasn't horrible, and definitely went through quite a bit of wood, but not all the wood supply that I cut, so that's a good thing. So I think at this point, it's time to get the coffee pot on and start boiling some water. And let's make some coffee and warm up. So a little bit of ice on the top of the jug, but not bad. So it actually made it through the night without freezing. You got some low budget Maxwell House breakfast blend. As some people would say, it's not real coffee unless it comes in a tin can. Put some more grounds in there. Make it a rich brew. The top of the stove, there's a little port here. You can take off this portion here, and you can set your coffee pot right up there. That'll do. That will do. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Overall, the Amazon hot tent experience was good, and I would highly recommend it for someone who's looking to get started out in this type of camping adventure. So again, I'll put all the links in the video description so you guys know what I used during this video here. Hopefully the prices will kind of remain the same, but I had hit a flash sale on Amazon, if you want to call it that. So I got these for fairly cheap, but even when they're not on sale, they're not horribly expensive. So definitely worthwhile to check out. But again, appreciate your guys' support. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Cheers.